to get whatever I'm talking about done. And if it's not in the congressional record where Congress authorized whatever action that we want to take, if it's not already on the book and not on the congressional record, not in the Federal Register, it will not happen. Want to know why? Because they don't even have authority to pull any money out of the Treasury on your behalf, my behalf, or anyone else's behalf, unless there was an act of Congress passed authorizing it. There is nothing that's going to come out of having a birth certificate. It is not a check. It's not an evidence of I could get this money. It is the evidence of the pledge estate. That's why the state registrar signs their name, because it's been probated. It's evidence of your pledged estate, in which the beneficiaries is the government. And this is why no one gets, when you buy a home, you get title to the property, but no one ever gets title to the land upon which the home was built on. All property is pledged to the government. Our only claim to the government is an interest in the proceeds from the money, securities they issued from it. And remember, since that took place under the government's own reorganization bankruptcy from March 4th, 1933 to June 16th, 1933, your only claim to the government is when you have a debt or there's a claim against you regarding your property, whether it's your car, vehicle, home. And then what you do is you transfer your interest in the property that you have over to the government in exchange for the set off of their mutual obligations. Or if you have a contract throughout the year, mortgage, car note, or whatever, okay, you will file that on your taxes as a loss. Because remember, everything's already prepaid. Interest is just hot air. And yes, that's the congressman's term from May 2nd, 1933. All bank money, credit money is hot air. So we use that premise and go to the IRS and says, hey, this has been paid. We paid $30,000 out of our pocket this year. This is an expense for us. It's a loss. So we tally up all the money we paid out of our pocket that year, non-OID. I stay away from the OIDs. I don't care if an OID is done correctly. The fact that so many people got the government using the OID is automatically assumed fraud, and they're not going to process it. They're not going to process it. They don't. I don't give a damn if it was done right. The only ones they process it for is corporations, real corporations. Mortgage investment conduits, them the only ones that they're going to process. We're not getting those forms processed. So I stay away from it just because it has a bad name. So with all the money that we paid throughout the year, we're really paying double because the contract is paid for by itself. It's already paid for because the money that you have to pay on that contract is already backed by the full faith and credit of the United States, in which our private property was used to back the issuance of the credit used to back the money. See, I can show you that in the congressional record. See, that's how I can show you that part. But it's and my remedies and things that I do, it doesn't go anywhere outside of what the congressional record has already allowed. And 98% of the processes today, they're outside of what the government even allows Congress to do. So even if they wanted to act on your behalf, they don't even have the authority. And this is why a lot of people's processes fall flat in their face. Now, the status correction, that is nothing but a variation. That's nothing from a variation of the sovereign citizen UCC redemption theory. They might have taken a few words out, might have taken this out, taken that out, but a status correction. Think about this, a status correction. Why would you need to correct your status when your only status comes in the form when you file these certain documents? They'll know what your status is when the way you present your forms. You don't have to tell them you're this. Your documents, your tax forms, the way you do your accounting is going to let them know well, this is the private man here. So back to the forms for a second. When we let the IRS know of our interest in the contract, the interest that we have, our equitable interest, that is what we use to take a loss. Now we mark that as a loss, and then we deduct our taxable income with the losses and the payments we made for a year. If the deductions and the expenses outweigh our taxable income, we will have what you call a net operating loss. The net operating loss is what allows you to get a quick tentative refund from the IRS, whether the loss is in your trade or business, or whether you're sole prop or whatever the situation is. And that's how the checks are generated. And if you feel you have a right to claim to the money birth certificate, or whatever, then you will file an abatement, a 843 form. Attach your birth certificate and let them tell you if you have an interest or you have a right to money just because you possess a birth certificate. The IRS knows. Ask them. They'll tell you. They'll tell you whether a birth certificate. And guess what? They're not like when people think, oh, they're just going to deny you in public. No, if you get what you doing, you filing those forms correctly, it's usually a 10 to 15 day turnaround for you get a check. Because we've been getting them, and I've gotten them myself. I actually just sent something out today for my NOI, another 73K. And I got another with my taxes, and they come like clockwork. So, Tamika, scam, fraud. Midwest, you already see my videos on that. Alessandra, fraud. See, here's the thing. Alessandra and Midwest, they scamming each other, but they don't even realize they scamming each other. Midwest,
I know.
Right. They don't even know they scamming each other.
It's like he gets the people to pay to get on his class, which I went and had with a partner of mine. I'm like, and the motherfucker just stop the class? What the fuck?
Right.
So,
right, because he got caught out by using someone else's video. He used someone else's video. He got caught out on it. Then he stopped the class and exit the class. And then then he got mad, got on his short talking about no refunds, no refund. What you mad for, brother? What you mad for? You got caught.
Yeah. So then I guess him and Alexandra felt like, I be telling my partners, hey man, I say the scam is scamming the scammer.
Mm-hmm.
I say they fucking each other and they don't even know it.
Right. Right.
I tell them it's one thing, like Tamika doing the process of getting your car title, all that. All right. First you say you put it on linen paper.
Right.
You send it in. You put a stamp on there. You get your stamps canceled out. You put pay to the order.
Right.
Then you do your beneficiary signature and boom, tell them to send your tenders through your TDA account.
See, that's where she goes wrong at. See, if she would stay on the right side, she'd be okay. She's right with finding the indentured trustee, making your presentment, whatever. But when she starts bringing in the TDA, starts putting this type of stamp on it, that stamp on the back of the signature, on the back of the instrument will get you, it's going to do more hurt. So she's mixing too much. She's mixing the legit stuff with the illegal stuff.
Exactly. So then, and then she say you file your 1099-C, and wait a minute, then do a 59F, a F59, 56, and you do all this, and then they was like, what the fuck? So then she come back and say, nah, you don't do the 56F, you still do your securities, you sign it in your beneficiary signature, pay to the order of whoever you sending it to. I'm like, okay, well, I did it that way too. Still no remedy.
Right. And then what did she say? What did she say when people like brought that to her attention? Hey, we just did it, what you said again, and there's still no remedy. So what's up?
No. So now she's saying just send it to call the number and tell them you got a complaint, blah, blah, blah. They're going to give you the person who you talk to. Then you talk to this person. You get their information, then you send it back to them. and they gonna process it. I said, hey, tired doing all this shit. I'm not gonna have these motherfuckers knocking on my door. If you see it in one way, then you see it in another way, I'm like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
You pay the money, you get your status correct. You got to get on the public side, because if not, all of it is considered as fraud.
No. Do you need your status corrected when you file your 1040?
No.
If you a business, not even just a business, if you got your LLC, and you file it and you take a loss, and your business takes a $500,000 loss, but you already brought in $200,000 income, so that remaining $300,000 can be refunded to you as a net operating loss, which they already do. Did anyone need to file a status correction to get the check? Would you think your LLC would need a status correction?
No.
Exactly. It doesn't. When you got your refund checks last year, or whenever you was working throughout your life, whenever you did, if you ever got a refund, did you ever need a status correction to get it? Nope, never did. Okay, so that status correction is bullshit. It was nothing more than a money grab. Midwest, when his pockets get low, he always has a new class, someone new on the team, someone knows how to get things done. And you're right, Midwest and Alessandra, like I said, are scamming each other and don't know it. He's scamming her, thinking he's scamming her because he believes she has this secret knowledge and secret remedy that she's been getting in the past. So she scammed him, making him believe she got remedy in the past, although she lives in a 400 square apartment and they already trying to sell her storage space because she didn't have the money to pay it. Then she tried to put a lien on her for doing that. But that didn't work. But they won't talk about that on the live. And she's scamming him because he's bringing her clientele to buy her bogus wares. He thinks he's getting the return and scamming her by getting free knowledge and then going back and selling it to the people on the side, in which none of that works. Prime example, Midwest talking about he just did this voucher CP576. They shut the first one down. The EIN down was invalid. They shut that down. He don't realize they shut it down due to fraudulent activity. He don't realize that. That's why they gave him a new one. They give you a new one. It ain't because they trying to help you. They basically trying to set a profile up to line you up later on down the line and hit his ass with a big $750,000 bill. And guess what? When they hit you with that type of bill, they are not going to accept no processes. You're going to have to pay that cash money or get on an installment plan. They're not even going to answer to any shit. I can go try to get it done. They won't answer. They won't do nothing. They want that money, cash money, straight up. So they really lining his ass up, but he too stupid to figure that part out. And and that's what they doing. They scamming each other. He's bringing her clientele, and she thinks he's getting the information he needs to get over the hump. But as you can see, he doesn't read or study the Internal Revenue Manual because the simple fact right here, there is a 180-day delay on processing 1041s now. So he's sitting there every day. Well, I'm just one day at a time. Yeah, we checked it. Nothing in the mail. You want to know why? They're not even going to get around to that 1041 until April, May. So what do you think he's going to say when May, December, January, February, March come around and still nothing done? And he got everybody just on pins and needles. By that time, he'll been on to a new remedy. You might hear him talk about that 1041 with that voucher for about another 2 weeks. Once they get that one letter back saying that it don't work, it's wrong, it's false, it'll just disappear from the algorithm. He won't talk about it no more. He won't bring it up no more. And every time a remedy doesn't work, he tries something that didn't work. He doesn't bring it to the people being honest. He'll just skip over to something else, hoping nobody brings up the question. And I told man what's to put me on this live. I told him. He talked about me the last week in this live. That dude for Lamont fake more. I don't do no more shit. Ain't nothing about him more. I don't even got that in my name. No L, no Bay, no nothing. But he will never put me on his live. Tell him to put me on a live so I can expose you in front of your flock so they can all know the type of person you really are. That coat drive, that toy drive, you can miss me. You can miss me with that bullshit because we all know all that cheap ass coats that you brought, you pocketed 80% of that fucking money. Toy drive, you pocketed 80% of that fucking money. Ain't nobody that's real over there falling for the bullshit that he's spewing out there. Because think about it, you've been on YouTube for 7 years. And I don't give a damn because you got Shippered and that other lap dogs, some little lap dogs parading around. I don't give a fuck about those lap dogs you got over there. Why is it that 2015, you have nothing to show? That Fidelity scam shit using the route numbers, those are scams. That fake ass money you showed last year talking about a special deposit, scam. So, Midwest, what do you have to show the people? And that was my only question. See, I can sit here and show you checks. I can show you account transcripts. I can show you the shit that I do over here at work. I can show you my net operating law. I can show you.
No pressure, nah, I ain't feeling no pressure. No, I ain't stunting her, man. She wanna get on.